Now then guys, how's it going? I've been working hard on AstroWizard again, and I've finally got a feature introduced which I've been wanting to have for a while now, and it is the Stretch Wizard, and it's a feature I'm actually pretty proud of. I think at this point it's perfectly in line with what I want for AstroWizard, and that is for it to be at a glance understandable and yet powerful, and I can't wait to show it to you. But before I do, I just want to take a moment to say thank you very much indeed for your support in all the different ways that you guys have been giving it, right the way from supportive emails and you know, little stories about how it's been getting you back into astro processing and things like that. It touches the heart. It really does. I have to be honest with you. You've humbled me, and I can't thank you enough. But without getting too heavy-handed and losing the point, thank you. I do appreciate you. All new builds can be found at astrowizard.lucamatico.com, of course. So this is the home for it. These links point through to my Google Drive where everything is hosted for you. There's Windows, Mac OS, which is Apple Silicon native right now. I do hear you on the Intel Macs. I would like to get a build out for you guys as well. But right now, just for now, it has to be Apple Silicon until I can figure out a viable alternative to get builds done on Intel as well. Got the Linux build too, and you can see where the latest build is. If you're on a relatively new version, you'll see a banner pop up at the top of your AstroWizard when there's a new build on the website that you don't currently have as well, so be on the lookout for the green banner. There is small install instructions as well as secondary download links if you need those. Normally won't, but there they are for you if you need them. We've got the latest from the workshop, which is like small synopses of what's been getting changed, as well as a full changelog for each of these changes, if you would like to have a good look at them. But anyway, all that said, let's dive in, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of AstroWizard right now, how it stands, and the stretching wizard itself, which is, like I say, a feature I'm really, really pleased with. So let's load an image. Let's go with this Poseidon Sea rosette data that I've shown this before on some of these run-throughs that I've been doing as part of the developer log, if you want, a dev diary. I don't know what the heck you call it these days, but it doesn't matter. Just showing you where AstroWizard is at. As always, now the images look all one color, like that's the linked, unlinked toggle. You can see things on this image, so you don't need to worry about it just yet. You're going to get the opportunity to actually set that up properly on step 7. It's just if you load an image in and it's like a solid block of color and you're thinking, well, I can't see anything to work with, that's what that's there for. So it should get you around that problem. As I say, it doesn't really matter which you click right now, so just choose one. And if you want to follow the like the wizard's way, if you like, which is some breadcrumbs, just a gentle guide leading you through processing an image on this, you may wish to just tell it what this data is and what it was taken with. So this is one shot color and a dual band filter. That's what took this data. So I'll click that, and that loads in that guide for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply a small crop. As I get through this, I will do 2x2 binning, just solely for the reason of getting the AI tool speed to be as fast as possible for this kind of just visual demo that we're doing right here. And I will apply a flip just so it's the right way around, as this was taken with a single mirror system, so it needs that. Let's go ahead and apply background smoothing so you can see the tools run. Should just fly through right there. You can see we've got navigation buttons right next to the main buttons after you've run a step, and it also acts as a warning to let you know if you have run a step that you might be doubling the effect if you apply it once again, or sometimes even more than doubling. These things can build on each other in unexpected ways. We're going to run a background neutralization. Next step, BlurXTerminator. Just let that pass through. There you go, next step. And you can always, of course, check what's actually changed. If you want to click hold to compare, you can see how things move. So done here. Next step, let's now apply NoiseXTerminator, and this is the last step that we're going to apply before I now get the opportunity to show you the stretching wizard. And I hope you're going to like this, because this was sort of half built in the last build. The ground floor was kind of in, and the foundations were set in, but it's all in now, and let's show you. So it's sitting up here in its own little panel with a nice big bright button, hopefully enough of a visual indicator that you should really be using that one, as it's going to offer you all the standard stretching methods all in one place. So you can compare side by side and just see it all right there without having to read anything or find yourself scratching your head. I want the visual language to read almost flawlessly. So let's use the StarXWizard. So it starts with a 2-step process, really, and then your image is stretched. So the first step is, which colors do you prefer? Don't look at it any deeper than that, really. So on this, as it happens, I like both. So I am just going to pick one. However, I'm going to go... Well, I prefer this. It looks ever so slightly more neutral, and I do like that for this shot. Okay, so now step 2 is pick which stretch level you want as well. So you can see it's 6 live previews. All there, and they are live and they're synchronized as well. So if you say, oh, I want to see this part of the image and judge it from this or whatever, you know what I mean, this feature right here, you can see that everything is previewed and synced. So as you change one, all of them follow, and it really works quite well. Now, you see, on the top row, we have soft, normal, and aggressive. So that would, you know, match these like normal and aggressive, as well as an extra option. And then you've got the custom options too. More on that. You've also got the manual, like the anchored stretches, the deep stretches available down here as well. So you can see everything all in one place. Like I said, custom window just down here. So if you want to use that and choose higher granularity as any of your options, so you can go below the lowest option here and above the highest option as well, of course. And also if you click the more dialog, it brings you up the full dialog, including the anchored stretching methods as well, where again you can land below, in between, or above what's available on the buttons. Otherwise, I think it's really just quite robust and is working well. But anyway, back to the question at hand: which do I like the look of? Deep colors on this one is where I like. There's no real wrong choice. It's just a case of what do you like the look of, and have a go. And hopefully, it's quick and easy and fast enough that it encourages you to have multiple goes at this thing, and choose what works for you and for your data, rather than trying to apply rule books and really, just like I say, stiff guidelines and rules in the traditional sense. I want it to just be a choice-based thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and process this data now. So I'm going to run, I think, a little bit of saturation. Let's remove the stars because we've got StarXTerminator plugged in. I do hear the comments, by the way, and I do want to add StarNet++ to this as a free option for people who want to try to keep high functionality in the program without a monetary investment sort of thing into the RC Astro tools. Of course, I charge nothing for AstroWizard, but it does use some paid tools in the form of the RC Astro tools. I'm going to use the dual band to Hubble mix. I've removed the individual tune buttons and just had a tune dialogues right next to them, you see, so you can use those if you want to do anything manual to this. But you can see it gets you a decent palette to work with, and if we just get things a bit more visible, so a lot of yellows, a lot of blues, right? If we use yellow to copper and gold, we cast the spell. Gone on, you can see now we're even closer to that kind of Hubble appearance in just one step. Let's go ahead and apply a bit of saturation to it. I really like the masked saturation on this, by the way, and it gives me an opportunity to talk to you a little bit more about another feature that's been added. So on the curves, color targeting thing, this is a smart curves window. You may have seen me demonstrating this before, but if you choose to select a target, it will target just that target. I'm trying to gild the lily here, you know what I mean? It's kind of self-explanatory. So if I want to target just yellows on this, let's just drop on the yellows, and maybe I want to make them even more yellow, right? So I'm going to push in some green highs or whatever. You can see that it is just hitting those yellow regions, and we can hold to compare and see what changed, and hopefully, it helps guide you towards good decisions during your Astro image processing. If you want to target everything, of course, do all colors. I've also taken the opportunity, I just made a mistake there, didn't I? To add a broad spectrum curves saturation to this. So if you want to, you can see that what I'm just doing right there, I'm applying an S-curve kind of thing. Let's go ahead and apply that. If I open the saturation window now, you can see that you can apply broad saturation to everything. Now this is, unless you choose a color, this will be applied across the whole image, background and all, and I just felt like that was something that some people might want. My preference is always going to be for mask saturation applications. I find that it's just working better. And you know what? Hey, look, I've just gone too far. Let's use the new undo buttons, you know what I mean? So we can undo. and find what we want. Select undo. Okay, maybe I went too far there. We now have a redo button, as you've just seen me apply as well. I know this might sound really silly to point out, such a simple thing as undo, redo, but man, it took some testing to get those things actually working right so that you couldn't accidentally trip yourself up and effectively break your run through the data. Sounds daft, doesn't it? But there you go. It's in and it's working well. So I'm really happy to say it was a big old session, but like I say, the foundation was laid beforehand and it's come together really, really nicely. And now, you know, let's just pop the stars back in, let's say, and have a look at this. I like the image overall, you know what I mean? We can make a really nice image in moments. If I just go ahead and do one more run through for you on something else, just give you start over, new image, and we'll load, I don't know, maybe, yes, this VDB 152. So this is some nice data, but really challenging to process nicely, I think. I remember when I was first running through this with PixInsight, it took me hours to kind of get a nice result. We're going to do that now in minutes, certainly not hours. So you can have a look if you want. Again, it really doesn't matter at this point. If you can see the image on the screen well enough, you don't really even need to click that. But this is one-shot color data with a broadband filter, so I'm just going to click that path. Let's go ahead and we need a bit of a stronger crop on this. This will need flipping, and let's rotate it to after a bin. I think a bin operation. This is really big data. You don't have to do this, of course, if you don't want to on your data, but I feel like I'm against the clock a little bit. This is already 12 minutes in to the video, and I'm only just showing you the second one, but hopefully you can see how fast we're going to progress now. So if I apply a background smoothing, we're going to get rid of this this big old gradient in the image, thanks to the power of the wonderful GradientXtert tool. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, again, has really helped change the game for me. If I just show you, so the extracted gradient that got took out, bang, you know, and the before and after, so you can see what it will look like before, what it looks like after. Having these tools in here is just absolutely awesome, I think. Run a background neutralization. Next step, let's run BlurXTerminator. You can see we're really motoring through now. Next step, let's run NoiseXTerminator. Just let this do a 2-pass on normal. It's fairly noisy. One thing, by the way, I do notice, some people get a little bit confused, understandably so, after running something like NoiseXTerminator, and the stretch changes a large amount on the screen, and that was just to make it more robust when dealing with very, very smooth data. Sometimes the stretch that it applied after something like NoiseXTerminator wasn't strong enough, so I went with the nuclear option, really. I just decided to hit it with a bigger hammer. For now, knowing that it doesn't really matter as long as you can see what's going on screen, we're going to stretch it properly now using the stretch wizard. So let's go ahead and start this 2-step process once again. So, all right. Which do I prefer? Well, I think the one on the right looks a touch brown to me. I'm going to go with the more neutral colors of the one on the left. Which stretch level do I like? Well, this is too low. This is too low. This isn't bad. This is color casted. This is really nice on Deep Keep colors. And I could also try out custom if I wanted and play around with that, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Deep Keep colors works for this data. It looks good. So let's go ahead. Done here. Next step, let's maybe apply a bit of saturation. I'm going to get the stars to where I want them. Maybe a bit darker sky. Remove the stars now. I've got the stars exactly where I like them. I'm going to pull them out and work on the rest of the nebula. And do a bit of curves so you can see what's going on in the curves window right here. I think a big old lift. Why not? Let's really push this up to the next level, I'd say. So that looks quite nice. You can see where we come from, where we're going to. You can see the steps that we're making in the right direction, I feel. Maybe one more just overall broad lift. That looks nice. So this would be a good example, by the way, of where you might not want to use broad spectrum saturation. So you can see how, yes, it's going to hit all the points in the image, but that includes the background. It's going to start getting a bit more colored sort of thing, which is not quite right, I would say. So I'm going to use masked saturation. You can see you can also go too far with this. You can definitely tune this up, set the tools exactly where you want them. I quite like the saturation level. I feel like it's maybe a bit too warm in tone, so it gives me an opportunity to show you cool down as well. So this is just one of those wizard spells that's in here. The spell books are on the right, by the way, if you want to see what's being applied by each of these functions, so you can learn the curves yourself. If you want to make your own changes, you can also alter these pips however you would like. It's just there literally just to show you what's being done when you click those buttons, so it's transparent. You know exactly what's happening. But I feel like it's a really good learning opportunity to have those in for the sake of tiny little buttons. Yeah, hopefully you like that, and you can see really roughly what I've done. So a bit darker sky now, I'd say. And overall, let's go ahead and replace the stars. Thinking maybe we'll diminish them a little bit so they don't take over the image completely. That looks quite darn nice, I would say. Overall, maybe we could try another color balance or whatever. Maybe a green be gone. You can see at the pace that you can click through this, I've got now a nice image in moments. If I want to run, another light NoiseXTerminator on this, I can do that on this step and let it just do a quick pass, and things will get a little smoother. There we go. Minutes, literally minutes, even while explaining tools to you and deliberately like goofing things up for the sake of showing you what the tool can do these days. Hopefully you've enjoyed this anyway. I've certainly enjoyed getting it to this stage, and I'm now at the point where I've said this to a few people privately as well now, like I'm not even finding myself opening other processing tools anymore. I know this sounds biased, and maybe I am biased, I don't know, I'm just proud of this tool, but I'm finding myself just leaning on AstroWizard for all my own processing needs now. It does everything that I need it to do. My workflows were always simple, but I feel powerful first, and this is the natural extension of that. It's just now taken to a more usable position, I feel. So anyway, hopefully you're enjoying AstroWizard. Hopefully you give it a go. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That all rhymed a bit, didn't it? Anyway, thank you ever so much for your support once again. Truly, guys, I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you know that from the bottom of my heart. Truly, I do. Look after yourselves. I will see you in the next one, where hopefully we'll have another big dirty update to get stuck into on AstroWizard. Clear skies.